Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Boy, what an absolutely gorgeous morning it is out here. Not a cloud in this here blue sky. And on top of that, it's not super hot, but it's just perfectly right. Goldilocks warm. I'll tell you, I'll take that because soon enough, I'm going to walk out here some morning. It's going to be like 90 degrees at 9 a.m. And that's going to be absolutely obscene, but it's coming. That's what Texas is like. Well, guys, the two articles that I was reading today, boy, I'll tell you, what eye openers to be sure. The first one has to do with real world inflation. And what they're talking about there is a 10.9% increase on groceries at online and retail stores, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we're hearing all this stuff, Janet Yellen coming out, oh, no, inflation's not that bad, da. Well, you tell that to the average folks that are going to the grocery store and are literally paying, that extra 10 plus percent, 12%, 15, depending on the products. And how it works is this, guys. You go into the store and let's say a can of peas is like 38 cents. And then the next time you come back after a week or two later, well, it's 58 cents. And then you go back maybe a month or two later and it's 78 cents. And of course, when you're thinking about it, oh, well, 78 cents, that's not so much. But look at the difference. It literally has doubled in price. And the real inflation numbers are what are truly scary. And with the way things are going on with the attack on the dollar and stuff like that, we're going to be seeing inflation like nobody has even imagined. And they're literally out there trying to kind of make it seem like, oh, no, this is just very normal. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, it's not normal at all. It's costing people basically their livelihoods in the sense like this. People are deciding whether or not they're buying food or paying the rent kind of deal. Now, having said that, the second article, boy, I'll tell you what. This one is about BlackRock. Well, BlackRock has raised the largest ever amount, $30.4 billion, to actually go out there and buy up all this real estate, whether it's residential or commercial or whatever. And the distressed real estate is what they're going after, guys. That's people that aren't able to make their mortgages, haven't been able yet to pay their taxes and all this and this. And here you've got these major banks going out there and literally profiting off of other people's misery. And they've done this before so many times. These are the same guys that helped to create this problem with all of this helicopter money and getting bailed out and on and on and on. And yet what happens, guys? The market gets driven down because, of course, hey, there's lots of inventory out there, isn't there, with all the foreclosures and with folks not able to pay their taxes and all this kind of stuff. And what do? They swoop in and they gobble it all up. And it is truly ridiculous when you think about it because, look, when they get in trouble for their bad investments, what happens to them? Oh, the Federal Reserve comes out and says, oh, you're too big to fail, so we have to bail you out and give you all these sweetheart, quote unquote, loans to the tune of what, $1 trillion plus and on and on and on. You and me, what do? Oh, pay up or get out. That kind of deal. Or we're foreclosing, or we're doing this, or we're repossessing your vehicle, or we're taking you to court and seizing your bank accounts and on and on and on. I have never seen a situation that mirrors so perfectly the proverb of the merciful servant. And here's a guy that went in, owed the king, millions and millions of dollars. And the king, was going to throw him in prison, him and his wife and family and the whole bit. And he said, and the guy begs for mercy. And the king says, you know what? I'm going to show this guy some mercy. And he forgives the debt. Well, the guy gets out. He walks out of the court. He's walking down the street. He sees someone that owes him like $50, grabs him by the collar and starts shaking him and says, hey, you better pay that 50 you owe me or I'm going to have you thrown into the clink. And what happens? Sure enough, he throws him into the clink. Well, the king hears about it. He calls the guy back and says, are you kidding me? I forgave you that monstrous debt and you couldn't even release this guy for $50? Well, I'll tell you what, that debt's reinstated now. And until you pay it, your butt's going to be in the clink yourself. And, that's how the story goes. Well, this is what we're seeing with these big banks. These big banks have been bailed out absolutely astronomical amounts of money. And yet, what are they doing to the little guy? They're putting a squeeze on him. They're cutting off his credit. They're literally going out there and foreclosing and on and on and on. Now, I'm not saying that, hey, there shouldn't be, something to be paid there, or whatever. But why don't give the guy a break for a month, or, try to rewrite his loan and all this kind of stuff. But it just seems like there's no tolerance for that whatsoever with them. But when they want to actually get bailed out, they want it, and they want it now, and they tell you just how important it is, because if they don't get it, everyone is going to suffer. Well, that's kind of being held hostage, isn't it? And that's kind of what it feels like. A friend of mine, he's from New Zealand, and he used to love to say this. He said, the banks are like this. They give you an umbrella when the sun is shining, and they take it away when it starts to rain. And that's exactly what they're like. Guys, you cannot trust your bank. They'll even dictate to you how to spend your own money, that is for sure. And for me, that's why I am really, really hyped about this digital asset space. For the first time in history, it truly allows us to be our own banks and chart our own course and do things that normally we could not do if we were in the standard fiat system. And I truly, truly do love that. Now, having said that, I know that the bankers don't love it, and that's why there's big pushes on regulation. And you watch and see, once they get institutional adoption, institutional custody, they're going to be coming after self-custody in a big, big way. And think about this. Look, in France and different parts of Europe, you can't even spend, it's illegal to spend $1,000 in cash. That is absolutely insane, but that's the way it is, guys. They want it so that we're forced to go through their corral, through their rails, and that way they get to control and manipulate us in big, big ways. I'm telling you, it is coming. And I have all my stuff on self-custody, and of course, all of us really support self-custody. But think about it in this capacity. When you're self-custodying those assets, look, you have ways of kind of getting around the standard system that average folks don't, because if the banks or the government, for instance, wanted to seize your assets, well, they can do it pretty easily, can't they, in the current system? Well, they can't do that so easy when your digital assets are self-custody, can they? And think about this, when you got insolvency events and your trustee is supposed to be in charge of all your assets. Well, a lot of people are using, self-custody and digital assets to shelter, their wealth and stuff like that, and kind of tuck it away there. Now, they may be able to find out about it, but they can't get access to it. And guys, it's all about access. And that's why I believe eventually down the road, they're going to come after self-custody. Now, I guess we're going to see how it all plays out, how all these regulations work and what. But I'll tell you, we're on the way to this new digital system. And in fact, the Bank of International Settlements just finished up a major pilot project called Project Icebreaker. Investigate that. Maybe I'll report that in tomorrow's coffee chat, but that's something to review as well. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, I sure hope you're having a fantastic day. It's hump day. And until later on today, when we have a great video prepared for you, I sure hope you have a great one, and take care.